This is the 15 worst cars that no one wants because of failures that empty wallets. You'll get exact years, engines, and what fails first. Think of an engine like a heart. When oiling, cooling, or timing goes bad, everything else pays. Let's dive in with number 15. Number 15. 2014 to 2016 Nissan Rogue with the 2.5-liter QR25. On paper, simple and dependable. In practice, rising oil consumption plus early timing chain stretch. Why it matters: low oil thins protection, chains slap at cold start, cam timing drifts, and you're one misfire from trouble. Consumer Reports shows below-average engine reliability, and J.D. power dependability dips as miles stack. What to watch: cold start rattle, blue smoke on D-cell, and fuel trims that hint at blow-by. A quick mechanic tell: if you're adding a quart every 1,000 to 1,500 miles, you're on borrowed time. Speaking of early failures, it gets worse. Number 14. 2011 to 2014 Subaru Forester with the FB25. The belt and oil concept didn't apply here, but the rings did the damage. Oil consumption from day one. Ringland wear plus PCV vapors coke up everything, and owners normalize carrying quarts in the trunk. Consumer Reports flagged engine complaints, and J.D. power longer-term dependability lags for these years. What to check: dealer-documented consumption tests, updated pistons and rings, and compression numbers across all four. Also, if you're cross-shopping older EJ cars, head gaskets are a separate watch item. The trend line keeps moving the wrong way when oil control isn't robust. Number 13. 2013 to 2014 Ford Escape with the 1.6-liter EcoBoost. Overheating, coolant intrusion, and those early fire recalls hammered the reputation. NHT SA complaint clusters tell the same story: sudden overheating, power reduction, and in worst cases, thermal events. Ford pushed software updates, shields, and repairs, but the stigma stuck. Auction buyers discount hard unless there's bulletproof documentation. If you're even considering one, verify every recall by VIN, pressure test the cooling system, and scan for misfires after a long idle. A smooth idle hot, with no coolant loss and clean plugs, is your minimum bar. The pattern now is heat and oil control working against you. Number 12. 2011 to 2014 Mini Cooper Countryman with the N16/N18 engines. Tight bay, heat soak, and the infamous timing chain tensioner. Chain slap on cold starts is your warning. Let it go, and the chain elongates, cam correlation codes follow, and you risk contact. J.D. power. Dependability for these years trails peers. What to listen for: a diesel-like chatter on first start and a rhythmic tick that fades warm. Both are bad signs. Ask for proof of chain, guides, and tensioner replacements with quality oil intervals. Remember this detail: heat kills timing components fast. That's where costs stack because labor on these is deep. Here's the through line so far: oil control, heat control, and timing integrity. Miss any one of those, and reliability drops off a cliff. Now let's get into the cars where the bills get shocking. Number 11. 2011 to 2015 BMW 3 Series/5 Series with the N24 cylinder. The issue is timing chain, guide wear, and oil pump drive vulnerability. Once the guides crack, the chain stretches, cam timing drifts, and the oil pump drive can lose bite. Consequence: full engine if it jumps at speed. Consumer Reports. Long-term reliability is mixed, but the engine major flags are consistent. What to watch: cold start rattle from the rear of the engine, cam correlation codes, and metallic glitter in oil. If a seller says just the chain, check the invoice. Guides and tensioner are non-negotiable. Costs jump here because the job is labor-heavy and mistakes are expensive. Number 10. 2008 to 2012 Volkswagen Jetta with the 2 TSI. Direct injection Coke's intake valves. You get misfires, rough idle, and lost power. Shops plan walnut blasting at 60 to 80,000, and again near 100 to 120,000. That's real money. Add high-pressure fuel hiccups and PCV issues, and the cost curve rises. Auction lanes reflect it. Cars with documented cleanings and updated PCV fetch more. Unknowns sit. What to check: verified valve cleaning history, short oil intervals, and a smooth idle after a hot soak. The pattern is simple. I needs maintenance you can't skip. Number 9. 2011 to 2014 Chevrolet Cruze 1.4T. Plastic-heavy cooling system and weak water pumps. Once a connector cracks or a pump weeps, coolant drops, temps spike, and head gaskets pay. NHTSA patterns show overheating leading to stalls. The thing is, owners often limp it home, which cooks the engine and the turbo. What to inspect: pressure in the cooling system after an overnight sit, pink residue around fittings, and milkshake oil. If it's already overheated once, budget a head job and possibly a turbo. The total loss risk is real because by year 8, the repair eclipses value easily. Number 8. 2013 to 2016 Nissan Altima 2.5 liters with early CVT. The engine by itself isn't the villain. The pairing is. Heat and load shear, CVT fluid. The belt starts slipping, shudder shows up, and the engine compensates. Knock control and misfire counts climb. J.D. Power shows dependability sliding across the first 3 years as driveline complaints rise. Here's the key. There isn't one fix. It's a system problem. Inspection checklist: scan for CVT temps and slip data, smell for burnt fluid, and test drive uphill under light throttle to feel for surge. If the seller dodges a long drive, that's your sign. So, what does this mean for your garage? 3 guardrails keep you out of trouble. Shorten oil intervals, service cooling systems proactively, replace plastic parts before they fail, and clean DI intake valves before misfires cook catalysts. The real secret is prevention costs pennies compared to engines and transmissions we just talked about. Now, speaking of stacked costs, the next set is where recalls, TSBs, and design flaws collide. Number 7. 2011 to 2014 Hyundai Sonata with a Theta II 2.4 liters or 2T. This is the recall that everyone remembers, and for good reason. Machining debris left in the oil passages meant bearings didn't get clean flow. That turns into rod knock, sudden stall, and in worst cases, fire risk from thrown rods and oil leaks. Consumer Reports owner satisfaction nosedived because parts availability lagged fixes, and J.D. Power dependability suffered as mileages crossed out of warranty. What to do if you're checking 1. Run the VIN for recall completion, ask for proof of a short block replacement, and cold start it after an overnight sit. Listen for knock after a 10-minute hot idle. If the seller can't document the engine swap with the latest revision, walk. The reputation cliff here isn't internet drama. It's the cost of downtime, tow bills, and months waiting on engines. That changes buying behavior fast. Number 6. 2009 to 2012 Audi A4 with the 2TCA EB. Oil consumption is the headline, but the cascade is the story. Worn pistons and rings let oil past, compression falls, misfires start, and raw fuel takes out the catalysts. Audi extended warranties for consumption tests and ring updates, but many cars slipped through or were fixed, with only a PCV. Consumer Reports flagged engine issues, and owners learned the hard way that topping off every fill-up isn't normal. If you're inspecting one, you need receipts for pistons and rings, not just a PCV or software. Do a compression test if the seller agrees, pull plugs for oil fouling, and check long-term fuel trims that suggest blow-by. The reason this hits the cliff is simple. Even repaired cars carry a stigma unless documentation is airtight. Auction buyers demand ring and piston proof or the bids crater. Number 5. 2001 to 2013 Chevrolet Equinox and GMC Terrain with the 2.4-liter Ecotec. The 2.4-liter looks ordinary on paper, but timing chains and balance shaft chains stretch early when oil control goes soft. Add PCV system issues and fuel wash, and you've got chains slapping, cam correlation codes, and eventually valve contact. J.D. Power snapshots might not scream disaster year 1, but shop volume and Consumer Reports engine major flags tell the long story. What to check? Documented timing set replacement with chains, guides, and tensioners together, updated PCV components, and evidence of short oil intervals. If a seller only shows a single chain invoice without guides, that's a half fix. The market knows this job can rival private party value, so resale drifts down unless the evidence folder is thick. Speaking of timing that won't forgive heat or thin oil, the next 3 are where engines get truly expensive. Number 4. 2008 to 2014 Subaru WRX and STI using the EJ255 and EJ257. Fans love the sound and the boost, but the bearings and ring lands don't love heat and detonation. Even with diligent oil changes, track days or hard canyon runs push the oil film thin. You start hearing a low-frequency knock at warm idle. Then you find glitter in the filter. Consumer Reports predicted reliability is spotty by year, but engine major problems cluster on abused or modified examples. Here's the play if you still want one. Demand used oil analysis records, compression and leak down numbers, and proof of a conservative tune. Ask for upgraded oil pickup and baffling details. If the seller can't show logs or service evidence, assume you're budgeting for bearings or a long block. The lesson is clear. This design leaves little margin when heat and load stack up. Number 3. 2009 to 2015 Dodge Journey with the 2.7-liter or 3.5-liter V6. Family hauler badge, but the worst years broke the trust. NHTSA. Complaint spikes track overheating, coolant leaks, and oiling issues that lead to sudden stalls or knocks. The mixed parts bins and production batches make it messy. Some builds run okay, others cough up timing and bottom-end problems earlier than you'd expect. Auction sheets saying, runs knocks, tell you everything about reputation. What you need to verify: cooling system pressure integrity, no chocolate milk oil, stable temps on a long uphill drive, and clean scan data without misfire traces after a hot soak. If the seller gets vague about water pump history or headwork, step away. This one broke every rule, because shoppers usually trust simple V6s and people movers. The data says earn that trust with proof, not a badge. Number 2. 2011 to 2015 Ford Explorer with the 3.5-liter/3.7-liter and the internal water pump. This design hides the water pump behind the timing cover, driven by the timing system. When the pump fails, coolant dumps into the crankcase. Now you've got oil turned to sludge, bearings wiped, and in many cases, hydrolock. The bill? Engine, pump, chains, guides, and a whole lot of labor, often more than the truck's worth at 10 years old. Consumer Reports owner reports and independent shop logs both show the same pain point: repeat jobs when the first repair missed collateral wear. What to check? Cold and hot cooling system pressure tests, a sniff test for combustion gases, oil analysis looking for coolant, and service records proving a pump and timing overhaul done right. If the expansion tank keeps burping after a long drive, you're seeing pressurization and possible head damage. Some run long with gentle use and fastidious maintenance, but the risk is baked in. And that's why shoppers avoid these the moment they hear internal water pump. Pick number 1, the controversial lemon. Here it is, 2011 to 2014 Kia Optima with the Theta II 2.4 liters and 2T. Loyal owners love the value, but the data doesn't flinch. Consumer Reports flags engine major, and J.D. power dependability dips right as powertrain complaints spike. The core failure is machining debris and narrow oiling margins. Bearings don't get clean flow. Clearances tighten under heat, and you hear a dull knock at warm idle that turns into rod throw or a seized engine. Why buyers walk is simple math. The real fix is a short block or long block with updated parts, plus a full timing set, chains, guides, and tensioners, and a deep clean of the oiling system. Add parts back orders and heavy labor, and quotes blow past private party value on higher mile cars. Even fixed examples carry question marks if paperwork isn't airtight. What to check first? Run the VIN for recall campaigns and extended coverage, then confirm completion dates and which block went in. You want invoices that spell out short block replacement, not just a software flash or a knock sensor remap. Cold start after an overnight sit and listen for chain rattle. Then drive it hot, idle 10 minutes, and listen for that low, rhythmic knock. Scan data matters. Look for clean long-term trims, stable idle timing, and no scatter and misfire counters. Pull the oil cap at idle, heavy vapor, hints at blow-by. Used oil analysis. History is gold. Why this tops the list? It ties every theme: oiling contamination, heat, timing stress, and the repair routinely eclipses value. The market knows it. Auction lanes discount hard unless the folder shows a factory short block with the latest revision and clean follow-up service. If you still want one, make your offer contingent on compression and leak down, borescope of cylinder walls, and written proof of the exact parts installed. Otherwise, walk. There are better bets for your money. That's the pattern: fragile oiling, weak cooling margins, or timing hardware that ages fast, and the fix costs more than the car. If you want straight, data-first guidance that protects your wallet, this is your spot. Subscribe so you never miss the buy this/skip that breakdowns.